channel. This is Books Now, Something At Me Bro Show, and right now we're going to get into Galaxy Opal Historic Spotlight Sim Gilbert Arenas. Now, Gilbert Arenas was one of the absolute best point guards in the game before everybody became 6'7" and over. So if you don't play short point guards, thank you for clicking on the video. I'll see you next time. But if you do play short point guards, here's a breakdown for you guys. So first things first, Gilbert Arenas is basically 99-ish everything. He's all the way up there in most important categories for a 6'4" guard and is above average in several of the categories. I'm not going to describe everything, but I'm going to scroll down the stats here so you guys can see. But just assume he's generally 90 and above in everything, 95 and above in most things. And his strength is actually an 83. So I haven't played with the card in competition yet. This is just a breakdown for what he can do, mostly offensively. But keep in mind, with an 83 strength, he might overperform as a small point guard, because that's really important. Badges, same thing. He basically has every badge in the game. I think this is probably one of the most overlooked cards in the game, possibly because people don't play short point guards as much, but I know a lot of people still do. A lot of people still run in that Derrick Rose and Steph Curry and even a Kyrie Irving, and this guy easily competes with any 6'3" guard in the game, easily. I think he's generally very, very strong. So if you guys see the title of the video, you saw, now first of all, that's obviously a pun on the time that, well, read up the story about Gilbert Arenas in the locker room. But it's also true. So while every card now is going to say they have a 99 3-point shot, they're going to say they have Hall of Fame range extender, you will find that if you actually use the card and take those range extender shots, that the card, they don't feel like they're like super comfortable shooting from super deep. This Gilbert Arenas card is like, he reminds me when I first tried the Jason Terry, where literally he shoots from half court almost like he's on the 3-point line. Like, he has legitimate range extender. It's almost as if they gave him a version of the badge that is stronger than Hall of Fame range extender. So even though, I mean, and he's good off the peak. He's not the fastest off the peak. You see he has a little bit of he has a very high shot. He rises a little bit, but definitely fast enough to get a shot off. I would say he's second tier in that category. He's also really excellent off of the pro hezi as well. He goes up immediately. His pro hezi is extremely fast, shooting off the pro hezi. So he's looking really good in that regard. You see hot zones basically everywhere except for the corner, which is the easiest 3 in the game. So you can almost consider him having hot zones everywhere. This guy might have one of the, I mean, not even might, he has one of the biggest green windows I've ever encountered. So that's a major factor, because I think no matter what, when you have a card like this that you can really green, and you can green from deep half court, like consistently once you learn his jump shot, you're in a situation where that's a weapon that it doesn't matter what the other person, like if the other person's getting dunks because they're using a big old Magic Johnson or Ben Simmons, but you're getting this because you're using Gilbert Arenas, you're like, I'm fine with it. You can rim run all you want because I'm killing you from out here all day. And this card has, I think he's a step above your, it sounds ridiculous, but your average, you know, Hall of Fame quick draw, Hall of Fame range extender shooter. This guy is like elite S-class, S+ shooter in the game. You can just feel it when you shoot with the card. So wanted to get that off my chest, like right in the beginning, so that you guys understand that everything else we say about the card is in the context of this is one of the best shooters in the game. Now, so let's go to what else he brings to the table. As we see, he has 99 everything, so everything else is going to be very animation based. So 99 speed. Does he feel like one of the fastest cards in the game? I'm going to say he feels fast, but he does not feel as fast as Dwayne Wade and Russell Westbrook. I don't know why that is. I don't know what it is about cards that makes some cards feel like they're extra fast. You can feel it on the Iverson card as well. Like they just feel like that's as fast as you can get in the game. This card is a baby notch behind that. He's definitely not slow. I wouldn't say he's sluggish, but with that 99 speed, if you're expecting him to perform at that level at the speed of those cards, I would just say, and this is highly subjective, that he doesn't feel as fast as those cards. All right? But still fast. So that's not a negative. I'm just pointing out where he's at on that tier list in terms of speed. Overall, he's probably S-class, but he's at the lower end of that class where, for me, Westbrook, Dwayne Wade, they just feel a little different. Allen Iverson feels different. Okay, so that having been said, let's look at his dribbles. So he has this I think that's the same behind the back that Tracy McGrady has that you can do all the way up court. I mean, you can definitely do this all the way up court the same way you can do the between the legs. Yes, you just wait for it to complete. You can kind of keep doing that, but it doesn't give you the speed boost, but it is good for directing your character. And the same thing for his between the legs. It's very good for getting you a 3-ball, which is this character's entire game plan, really, is to shred people from 3. Again, this guy he's about shredding you from 3 any way that he can, and he has the tools to do that. All right, let's look at his crossover. Excellent, very, very high tier crossover. I don't know if this is the same one as Spencer Dinwiddie, but not too many cards actually get this crossover that goes into it immediately. And if you see me in the half court here, you see that crossover. If you can in any way cancel the frames of that crossover, it changes the direction of your character immediately, which is very useful. A lot of crossovers have a massive startup before them. His has minimum startup before his crossover, so it's actually very usable. So even when somebody's in front of you like that, you can actually use this crossover the way a moving crossover is supposed to be used. So that's a big positive for him as well. And let's see how that combines with this crossover behind the back. Solid. It's a solid crossover behind the back. I don't think it's going to be one of the greatest tools in the world for him, but I think it's solid. It's above average. All right, so let's look at his half-court dribbles. So good news for Gilbert fans. He has a pro. I want to say he has a Pro 3 Hezi. It feels a little slower, so it might be the Pro 1, but I might be crazy. Either way, Pro 1 or Pro 3, excellent. It allows you to play the silly games I've highlighted many, many times on this channel. So you're good to go in that regard. So that's one elite dribble down and then a step back. He also has the elite space creating step back, which is fantastic because, as you guys know, off of any basic speed boosting move, you can initiate that step back right away and create kind of a misdirect off of that move like that. You see that? That kind of hippity hop. He's moving forward and immediately jumps backward. Absolute elite tool, especially on an elite 3-point shooter like Gilbert. And you can combo that step back into itself. So again, same thing. You can, once you get that like misdirect going, or you get the snatch back going, you can step back immediately, combo into itself, and create space. And being able to create space immediately is so important on the perimeter when people want to be pushing up on you all the time. So you call a screen, you can create space, and then you can make decisions. You can get people off you. You can neutralize what people are trying to do by connecting with you with clamps. So I think having one of the 2 elite step backs is important, and he does have that. So all that's left really with Gilbert is what's his size up looking like. I guess I would say that's where the bad news is, in the sense that like he doesn't have the fast size ups, but he does have these moves that you can use to crab. So you can use that to crab, but it's not symmetrical, as you can see. So this is me holding right trigger, going to the opposite ball hand that way. Same ball hand that way, looking good, but when he goes to the left, oh, no, maybe it is symmetrical. Yeah, so he has it symmetrical. You just gotta let him settle down. You see, sometimes he goes to the regular crossover. I don't love that, but bottom line is you can definitely crab with the size up, which makes up for the fact that it doesn't have the fastest, it's not the fastest size up in the world. As you can see there, his between the legs, his behind the back, they're all kind of slow, which means that Gilbert doesn't really have the ability at an elite level to do these moves to explode out of a size up as well as other characters, but it's still good. It's not trash. It's still good. It's still definitely usable. It's just a different style that's not quite as, just explosive as some of the other cards do. But some people might like this step back the most. This size up the most. Size ups are tricky like that. Some people like some style of size ups. Literally in the park, there's like 3 or 4 that have been considered meta at different times, and they're all still usable. So it's really just about what you like. So he has, he's solid in the size up. Not my personal favorite, but I wouldn't go as far as to call it a weakness by any stretch. I think it's a pretty good size up, and he can definitely work out of it. So let's look at his momentum dribble. He doesn't get a lot of space with his momentum, so he's not going to really be spamming it like an Iverson or a Jordan. Jordan's really good for that. He creates decent space. He has a nice left-right with his momentum. That's not Gilbert's forte. So if you aren't actually making people guess with this, it's just going to be a waste of stamina if you can even do it. I know it's not the most popular thing in the My Team community, but it's a tool that he has, and I think for Gilbert, it really is about how well do his tools work for creating a 3-point shot, and I think he has many, many elite tools for creating a three-point shot, and specifically a range extender three-point shot. And the thing about him is, because he can hit those shots, that puts him into kind of a weird category of elite. Most characters aren't elite like off the dribble and taking that shot. There actually aren't that many cards that have that, because a lot of cards have one good animation missing. Either they have a bad step back or they have a bad hesitation or something like that. So he has a step back, he has the hesitation. Honestly, this card's only true flaw is that he's 6'3". If it wasn't for the fact that he was 6'3", this would be one of the best cards in the game. Even if he was 6'7", he would easily be one of the best point guards in the game, hands down. That having been said, I think offensively, he might still be, for some people, an elite offensive player. Shout out to RCA the Great, who I think still, I don't know if he uses Gilbert now, but I know he used Gilbert long after everybody was using tall point guards and he was doing 12 O's with the character, no problem. So I'd be very curious to see how he feels about this card if he gets his hands on it, because Gilbert was, I think, his favorite point guard for a while. And if you guys don't know RCA the Great, he's the guy who showed us the quick through SDS and a fantastic 12-0 competitive streamer here on YouTube and Twitch. Okay, so that having been said, what else has he got? So we're going to look at his layup packages and we're going to look at his dunk packages, then we're going to close it out. Yes, so Noob asks, is Gilbert an elite point guard for his height? I would say definitely. In my opinion, he definitely is. I think he's, if I had to pick a 6'3" point guard in this game, I would definitely put Gilbert's name in the hat of those cards that I would use, for sure. So this is, he also has a really good layup package. Like, this card is, he's just an animation beast, quite honestly. He really has a lot of great animations, a lot of great things going for him, including his jumper. Even a nice floater. This card is serious, man, as the floater miss. But yeah, so this card is really, really good. Again, if you run a 6'3", if you're going for Kobe or Hakeem, and you're going to get Gilbert anyway, I would definitely say Gilbert is worth a look. Or if for some reason you did a bunch of East spotlights and you're kind of halfway there, it might be worth your time to get this Gilbert Arenas card. I think he's better than a lot of cards, including a lot of 6'5" cards. I think if you're going 6'5" and under, Gilbert might be a card you want to seriously look at. All right, so let's take a look at his dunk packages. So his dunk radius appears to be near the maximum if you press forward on the stick, right? So he can dunk pretty much from the three-point line if you're holding forward. Let's see, right? He doesn't do it if you hold right. So if you're trying to dunk from the farthest point, his dunk packages allow you to do it if you're holding forward on the stick. You see there, I pressed it right as his feet crossed the three-point line. So for a 6'3" guard, he does have access to the farthest dunk radius. And it's actually a lot less common amongst the shorter guards to have that far of a dunk radius. For some reason, it's much more common. The dunk packages that they put on these cards, it's much more common for the 6'8" and 6'10s to have a maximum dunk radius. All right, so let's look at the dunks with the right hand. And guys, I don't know if you can see it on stream, but you can see what I'm talking about. He's just not quite exploding out of those dribbles the way Dwayne Wade does. And that's another thing about like the size up packages. Like, some of it is size up. So that's his right-handed dunk, very safe. We're going with his switch hands here. Very nice switch hand dunk. Well, actually an elite switch hand dunk. We're going to go forward on a stick with the right hand. A bit of a gather on forward, so I would definitely say reserve your forward on the stick dunks for if you're trying to dunk from very far away to beat the defense. Check out his flashy, gorgeous flashy dunk. All right, so he's elite in every dunk going to the right. Let's check out for the left. Okay, you can see there, I tried to dunk with his left hand from the first dunk radius, didn't do it, and actually it looks like you might have to get just inside that second dunk radius, the line around the top of the key. Like if you drew a three-point line around the top of the key, that's where his dunk radius is in his left-hand dunk packages. So be aware of that. If you're going up with the left hand, wait till you pass that top of the key three-point arc before you attempt to dunk. Otherwise, you will get a step-back jumper. Don't blame the card if you get it. If you're trying to dunk from far away and the ball's in your left hand, hold forward on the stick. Alrighty, so we're gonna go for a switch hand dunk. You see there again, it just feels like his acceleration is a little lower than cards who are like natural slashers. I'm not counting that as a minus. I'm just stating it because this is a detailed like breakdown of the card. So don't take this as me saying like he's trash or that sucks. This card's job is to shoot. He's an elite shooter, and he has elite ways to set up that jumper. Oh my God, what a gorgeous switch hand dunk. So I did try a switch hand dunk from the left hand from the from the second dunk radius, and he went up for a jumper. So I would say definitely if you're dunking with the ball in your left hand, you might, if you're trying to dunk from far away, definitely go with a two-handed dunk up on the right stick to give you the farthest dunk radius. Otherwise, you might find yourself pulling up for jumpers. Don't say I didn't warn you. So let's see what his baseline, if he has the baseline dunks. Might have done it from too close. Give him another chance. He does not have baseline reverse dunks. So as a dunker, I would definitely say he's, as far as 6'3s go, he's an A. I wouldn't put him down to A- because with the right hand, he has like only elite dunks. With the left hand, you have to go forward on the stick, and he doesn't have baseline reverses. If he had baseline reverses and elite left hand dunks as well, I would definitely say he's an S-class dunker for his size if he dunks on people in game. That's the caveat. There's always a secret sauce with dunking about characters who dunk on people all the time. Like Dwayne Wade at 6'4" is one of the best cards for that. He dunks on everything. He just doesn't care how tall you are or what your badges are. He just is going to dunk on you. Westbrook feels the same way. Westbrook has pretty much never failed to dunk on people. He gets some of the silliest animations. I highly doubt Gilbert will get animations that good. So I'm going to say tentatively he's an A, potentially an A- if he doesn't dunk well on people in game, potentially an A+ if he does. All right, and we're going to check his triple threat animations, and then we're going to knock it out. Yeah, John Wall, definitely John Wall, obviously. John Wall is one of the glitchiest dunkers in 2K history. So, triple threat. Solid explosion out of triple threat. Okay, so now that I've seen him out of the triple threat, I'm just going to say, I don't know if his acceleration or what, but Gilbert he's just not as explosive as slashers at his size. And the only reason I bring that up, again, this card is not a slasher, clearly, but he has the ratings that some people who just look at ratings are going to think, why doesn't Gilbert perform that way? For whatever reason, he just doesn't have the animations to be an elite slasher. And let me see something. So for comparison's sake, let's look at Dwayne Wade real quick. Yeah, I have Dwayne here. Right? So just for comparison's sake, so I can feel right away, he just launches quicker. He just launches faster out of everything. I don't know why that is, what it is about the card that makes him do that. But once Dwayne Wade starts running, he's immediately ready to go into a dunk animation. Whereas with Gilbert, there's like a little bit of a hitch, a little bit of a pause before he goes. Like even there, once he left that size up, Dwayne Wade was good to go, you know? So that's just worth mentioning. That's all it is. Dwayne Wade is a slasher archetype. Gilbert is clearly not a slasher archetype. He's a shooter archetype. And even though Dwayne Wade is obviously one of the most elite shooters in the game, Gilbert does not make up that difference on the other end the way Dwayne Wade does. Gilbert is an elite shooter. I think he's one of the absolute best shooters in the game from the way he feels, how far he can shoot from. And he's a good slasher for a guy who does that, but he is a 6'4" card, so that's not his forte, so to speak. Again, with an 83 strength, I would say he might perform a little better on the defensive end than you would think, because that is a pretty nice strength rating. And let's look at those defensive badges before we get out of here, just to double up on that. So he obviously has Hall of Fame clamps, Intimidator, Pickpocket, Pogo Stick, which is great, Tireless, Chase Down, yeah, Defensive Leader, Interceptor, Off-Ball Pass. So this card might be a little better defensively than you think. And with the 6'3" cards, I really do think you have to play the cards in game, because some cards, for some reason, are just always terribly defensively, no matter what badges they put on them. It's almost like it's just hardwired into the card that they don't get defensive animations. And some cards, even when they're, you know, like Jimmy Butler's Sapphire is a good defender. You know what I mean? So you really got to look at the card and play him in game to see how he performs defensively. But obviously, if you get Gilbert Arenas, you were probably grinding for Kobe and Hakeem, so you got the card anyway. So here's a breakdown for those of you who are like, well, I want Kobe, I want Hakeem, but I'm not sure if there's anything else for me. If you guys play 6'3" guards, I think one of the most elite 6'3" shooters in the game is available to you for free. And enjoy. So I hope this was informative for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next one. Next up will be Hakeem. See you for that. Hope you're all doing well.